Can I tell you something that might change how you look at the AI advice you've been getting? I started building AI in 2012. So this isn't a pivot for me. This is something I've been doing. It's not something I discovered when ChatGPT dropped. I've been here since 2012, just at the enterprise level, so a little bit different. And now I'm bringing everything I learned in those rooms into founder-led businesses. So that's what today is all about. So stay with me because I think this is going to change some things for you. At least I hope it does. I hope it changes how you think about AI, how you use it, and how you work with it. So story time. Let's take it back. Let's go back to 2012. We didn't call it AI back then, not the way we do now. But every major organization was in what I would describe as a chatbot race, which is crazy to think about because they're everywhere now. But does that sound familiar? Everyone was rushing to build one, and not because they even really understood what it could do, but they were terrified of being left behind. And so the FOMO was so real. I was on one of those teams that was figuring it out and building, right? And I remember the first real conversation I had about what it was actually going to take to make these things work. The modeling, the training, the maintenance, the infrastructure underneath the thing that nobody really wanted to talk about because they just wanted the shiny front end. Everybody loves that part. But what nobody understood, and I mean nobody, like zero executives in the room, was like no matter how cute it was designed, it could only answer whatever it was trained on. So you could ask it the most brilliant question in the world, but if you hadn't built the foundation right, if you hadn't trained it to answer that question, you would get garbage. Or worse, you would get something that sounded kind of right, but it was like super wrong and strong. Does that sound familiar? Maybe like an AI experience you've had recently or along the way? It's crazy, right? Because 13 years later, it's the same problem. The tool changed, sort of, but the mistake hasn't. Okay, more story time. Fast forward a few years. I was brought in to solve a problem that a team of 20 brilliant humans couldn't solve on their own. Not because they weren't smart, it's just not what they did. So they were managing a $30 billion deal portfolio at one of the largest consulting firms in the world. You heard me, 30 billion. And the challenge wasn't capability, it was capacity. 20 people doing the work of 50 or trying to, and they couldn't hire more. Does that sound familiar? So I designed a solution. Hear me, designed the solution. I saw a problem and I imagined what the solution needed to feel like. So I mapped out how a person would actually use it, what they needed to see, the decisions that it needed to support, how it needed to communicate, where we needed to source the data from, all of that. And then I worked with an incredibly brilliant team to build it, all the way down to the color theory and the visuals. So it was gorgeous too. Because I really understood something even before I had the formal language for it, which is if it doesn't feel right to the humans using it, it doesn't matter how brilliant, how dope the technology is, right? It doesn't matter how flashy it is. If it doesn't work for the humans, it doesn't work. People don't use what doesn't feel right. They'll go back to whatever they were doing before, their spreadsheets, their gut, whatever. And your brilliant system or tool just becomes shelfware. So we designed for the human first, and then we built the technology second. That model, that $30 billion joint is still running today. And I haven't been there in years. But what we built is still working, still supporting the people, still doing its job. And after that, I went to one of the most legendary human-centered design consultancies in the world. I'm sorry, I can't name names, consulting code, but trust me when I say the caliber of work and the clients we served changed how I see everything. And that's where I got deeper into human-centered design and design thinking, not just in AI, but in brands, in products, in experiences, in strategy. Understanding psychography, ethnography, what people need that they hadn't even realized that they need yet. And what it confirmed for me after seeing it at the highest levels of business and design, that every AI project that worked had one thing in common. Humans were at the center of it. And every project that failed, skipped that step. So it's human first always, and AI second. That is not a philosophy I read in a book, okay? It's So don't ask. That's 13 years of watching what works and what absolutely does not at an enterprise level. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should write a book about that, but that's not the point of this. But here's the part I don't talk about enough. So you're hearing it first. When I was designing that model, the $30 billion portfolio system, there was a moment that changed everything for me. I was sitting with this team, these super accomplished, super smart people, and they were beat, like super tired. And it wasn't because they didn't love their work. It was because of the volume. The volume was crushing. And they were being measured on managing deals inside their portfolios. So not only were they drowning long days, they also had these impossible expectations and no relief in sight. And so I had like this moment, right? I thought, what if technology could carry some of this weight? So instead of asking, how do we just keep up with the demand? How do we use this technology to actually support these humans? So we move from build it so we don't fall behind, right? To build it so these people can actually breathe again. They can go home. They can have a life with their families. And that shift changed everything for me. And that model didn't just manage a portfolio. It gave people their capacity back, time to think, time to lead, and time to do the work that only they could do. I saw what was possible when you put the human at the center. And I have never forgotten it, because that's still why I'm here. I still do this, by the way. Different room, different people, same mission. I see founders doing the same thing that team was doing. Brilliant, called, drowning in volume. And I think, I know how to fix this. I've seen it work at the highest levels. I designed it. And now I get to bring it here to founder-led businesses, the people who really, really need it, right? I know I needed it. I still do. So here's a number that's going to hurt a little bit, right? When we think about our content, the average Instagram post reaches just about 3.5% of your followers. So if you have 4,500 followers, the average post is only reaching about 157 people. And to grow, data from over 52 million posts show you need to post 3 to 5 times a week to grow 2 times faster. Posting reels specifically 3 times a week, 23% follower growth on average, and consistency, showing up regularly over time, drives up to 450% more engagement per post than posting sporadically. Cool. Now here's the part that everybody skips, because the data is only talking about posting. So 5 mediocre posts a week is worse than just posting 2 really great posts, right? So it's not just volume. It's volume and quality and consistency in your voice for your specific audience. That's the ask. And that's why so many founders are drowning, because nobody told you it had to be all 3, right? So the question isn't whether you need to create content. We have to. We all do. I'm here, right? The data is clear. The question is, how much of your time is it actually taking? And is what you're putting out actually reaching people? This ain't about follower count. This is reach. So that's what we're solving here. And that's why I want you to do this audit. And you don't need anything else for me to do it. So when you leave here, I want you to do this week, and I want you to be super honest with yourself. Okay? Promise? For the next 7 days, track every single minute you spend on content, creating it, editing it, thinking about it, stressing over it, even at 10 p.m. when you should be sleeping because you don't have nothing to post tomorrow. Write it down. Yeah, I see you. I know you do it. I do it too. So, but then go look at your analytics. How many people did that content actually reach? What did it convert? This is your content ROI audit, okay? And most founders who do this have one of 2 reactions. Either I'm spending way more time than I realized, or I'm spending this much time and barely anyone is seeing it. Outrage, shock and awe. Either way, that number is our focus. And once you know the focus, then you can actually fix it. So screenshot this, write it down, run it back, but do it this week, okay? Because that audit is the beginning of us changing everything. Because now we're not running on vibes. We actually have data to support our decision making. And here's what I believe. Founder-led businesses deserve the same tools and the same systems and the same strategic thinking that billion-dollar organizations have had access to for decades. You shouldn't have to figure this out alone. You shouldn't have to settle for some generic AI output that doesn't sound like you and doesn't serve your people. Okay? You have built something real. You have a calling. You have something that the world needs. Your people are waiting to hear from you. And content and AI should be in service of that, not the other way around. AI is not the boss of you. That's why I'm here. Not because AI is trendy, but because founders deserve better. You do. We do. And I have the receipts that I can help. So if this resonated, if you've been feeling like something's missing from every AI thing you've tried, the hacks, the prompts, somebody sent you something in Notion, that missing piece is usually the human layer. And that's exactly what I teach. I drop new content each week on how to use AI in a way that sounds like you, works for you, works for your specific business, and does not require you to become a tech person to figure it out. Do your content ROI audit this week and come back and tell me what you found. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button, wherever it is, somewhere. I'll see you in the next one. Let's cook.